Once again, good morning. How are you? Chilly? We are now in the 29th Sunday in Ordinary Time. It says in the Gospel, repay to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and to God what belongs to God. The Gospel presents to us a famous assertion from Jesus Christ. Return to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and to God what belongs to God. The Pharisees went out and took counsel on how they could trap Jesus. And even they sent as Herodians, questioning Jesus by saying, "Teacher, is it lawful to pay census tax or not?" The Pharisees asked Jesus a trick question in hopes of injuring his credibility and getting him into trouble. This question is quite a tricky question for Jesus. Jesus knew that they are trying to trap him. He understood their evil intent. If Jesus says that the tax should be paid to Caesar, he would be considered guilty of false worship, since the Romans believed that the emperor to be divine. But on the other hand, if Jesus says the tax should not be paid, he would be encouraging disobedience to Romans law, which would be sedition. And Jesus, so clever, shows that he is clever to the questioners. He responds in a way that makes them like foolish. Give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and to God what belongs to God. The question, my dear brothers and sisters, first is, what belongs to Caesar? Or it is right to pay taxes to Caesar or not? It talks about our duties and obligations to the country or to the state. As Christians, we have our duties and obligations to fulfill our duties as citizen of the world or citizen to a certain country, to pay and do our duties, to pay our obligation and duties as a citizen, to help by means of paying our taxes. We know that we have a lot of taxes to pay. Few months from now, you will receive a notice from IRS, pay your taxes. Many forms of taxes. It can be income tax, property tax, or whatsoever. Even we go to buy in any store, there's portion of that we are paying is part of our taxes. It can be in the state, or in the state tax, or in the federal tax. So many obligations. We are to obey the government as a good and faithful citizen. We fulfill our duties to our country by loyally obeying the laws of the state, by paying all lawful taxes, and by contributing our share whenever called on for the common good. Why we are paying for our taxes to the state? It's for the common good, helping, promoting, or developing our country. That's our hope, our wish, that all the taxes that we are paying for common good, no? For our duties and responsibilities for others. And this is our obligation. This is what belongs to Caesar, or what belongs to the state, to share a portion of our income, share a portion of our property for the common good of the state. Another question, my dear brothers and sisters, what belongs to God? No? What does it means to give to God what belongs to God? Giving to God what belongs to Him means seeing the face of God in every human being and respecting the dignity of each person and defending his or her right to life. We belong to God. We live in Him. We are His beloved children. We belong to God. So through God's gifts, the love of God can be a tangible reality in our world. Therefore, to give God what belongs to God means giving all to God. It means all we are and have belongs to God. We would say our whole lives belong to God. The truth, my dear brothers and sisters, all that we have, everything in this world, are not ours. It belongs to God. We are made in the image of God, and God's image is imprinted in us. And by consequence, you are God's properties. We must offer to the Lord and give what is due to Him. Part of the commandments is to love God above all things. It means to surrender to the Lord everything that we have. This is not ours. Since from the very beginning of creation, God created us, made us in His image and likeness. It means that we belong to God. The tribute of adoration, of obedience, of dedication, and above all, our lives. In other words, everything that we have, our life, our being, our totality, belongs to God. Everything. And by understanding this, our very own lives, along with the entire creation, the sea, the land, the air, and all the created things, the people, all living things, all of these things belong to God. So it means that we have nothing in this world. We are all steward. When God created us, He entrusted everything to us, to His people. Being a steward, it is our responsibility and task to become a responsible steward of God's creation. Remember that God loves us unconditionally. And it is also our duties to share that love to His people, to our family, to our country, so that the love of God can be experienced in this world. The love, peace, and justice can be experienced through our being a responsible steward of God's creation. What belongs to God? Everything. Everything in this world. Not a portion of what we have. Not a percentage of what we acquire. Everything belongs to God. Give Caesar to what belongs to Caesar, and to God what belongs to God.